and welcome to the Icon Edit. I'm your host Ivona and this is episode number 9. If you have ever had that moment where something felt slightly off, in public, at work, on a date, or even online, this episode is for you. Today I'm joined by Leah Nicholls, the founder of Impulse Self-Defense, and her work focuses on empowering teen girls and women with practical self-defense, stronger boundaries, and a mindset that builds confidence instead of fear. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Let's get into it. So, For anyone who doesn't know Impulse Self-Defense yet, what do you teach and what's your philosophy?
Okay, right. So Impulse Self-Defense is right now focused on women and girls. That's purely because I've been a young girl and a teenager and I'm a woman. So I've got a unique perspective in terms of certain scenarios and situations. But mainly it's to empower young girls in feeling more confident, in being able to set boundaries, in being able to recognize red flags and have the relevant combat skills that are realistic.
That sounds good. Was there a moment, like a special moment, or that made you realize that teen girls and women needed this kind of training? Because Dubai is known to be very, let's say, safe for women, but besides that, I guess women have these issues everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's definitely something global, but I guess I first realized it during COVID. So I had first had the first idea of it was when domestic abuse cases were rising around the world.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I first thought, with my martial arts experience and with all of my own past experiences, is there something that I could do? And then it was only after moving to Dubai where I taught Taekwondo here for a couple of years. And I met loads of teens and I met loads of young people, and they were telling me how they plan to go to university abroad, in the UK, in America, wherever. And I'm thinking, it's not quite like Dubai. And I think Dubai, although it's super safe, it does give you a false sense of security. I know for me, especially when I go back to the UK, when I'm in London, I have to remind myself, I can't just leave my phone there.
Yeah.
I have to be aware of, where I am in the tube and who's that and what's going on. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. What would you say is the biggest misconception people have about self-defense?
Oh, there are a few. I think I'm going to focus on the two biggest ones for me. Mm-hmm. The first misconception with self-defense is that it's just all about fighting. And if you imagine it in your head, like, for example, what do you picture when you...
A woman being attacked from behind and then she turns over and punches someone.
Amazing. Yeah, that's it. And that does happen. But that's very dramatic. Mm-hmm. And it's all about the fighting part. Whereas the majority of self-defense actually happens before anything physical. Mm-hmm. So it's your awareness and using your voice, your body language and de-escalation strategies before the combat skills come into play. So I think that's the biggest misconception, is that it's all about fighting.
Yeah.
And then the second one, which blows my mind even now, the statistics globally, especially for women and girls, are that if you are going to be attacked, it is most likely going to be by someone you know. So again, when you picture self-defense, you think of you're walking alone late at night, it's dark, and an unknown person, a stranger, jumps out at you with a weapon.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but statistics show that it's most likely going to be someone you know, and even more likely to be your intimate partner, which is terrifying. And then from that, the next scary statistic is that the most dangerous place for a woman is in her own home, which that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
So yes, of course, there's opportunists and there's situations which happen like that, and the stranger danger. But from those statistics, the terrifying idea or the terrifying truth is that it's most likely going to be someone you know, and it could possibly most likely be in your home.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, that's really scary. That's true. So you try to give women like a toolkit of empowerment. And when we think about empowerment, what does that look like in real life beyond the physical techniques?
So definitely trusting your intuition is the main one. And going beyond just being told, be careful, which is what, we're all told and we all say. But I think better advice would be your safety should always come before anyone else's comfort or feelings. And I wasn't taught that when I was younger. And once you are able to set your boundaries, you are aware, your body language changes. It filters through other areas of your life. You are more confident, you might be more assertive, you might not feel guilt or shame by leaving a situation that you're uncomfortable in. Whereas I know that I wouldn't have done that when I was younger.
Because I think especially girls are socialized to be pleasing, to please
smile,
other people.
be polite.
Smile, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And although, of course, you need manners, obviously, but context is everything. And like I said, I wish that I was taught that instead of be careful, your safety always comes first. Just leave.
And that would have been my next question. So how do you approach this topic with teens, especially without teaching fear? Because it is a frightening topic to some point. So how do you approach this? Because I guess girls can get, a little afraid of these situations.
Self-defense should never be based on fear, but it needs to be based on reality. So, for example, there's something called false confidence, where that's, I guess, walking around thinking that nothing bad's ever going to happen to you. Whereas self-defense prepares you for just in case. It's like insurance in your back pocket. You hope you never need it, but it's great to know that it's there.
Yeah.
So my classes, I focus on scenario-based training. So usually it's something that I've been through or that I know something of. And we talk about it. It could be anything from consent to drink spiking, to being followed, to all of these things that may happen. And I always ask their opinions first. We talk about it. And then I show them different scenarios and different moves, different combat techniques, different perspectives. And it's more of a conversation rather than you should do this. You should do this because bad things happen.
And you never know how you react when it really happens,
the
right?
Fight, flight, or freeze is, everything happens in a split second. So if you could rely on your muscle memory to be able to help you in that situation, even simple things like some of the girls, most of them don't know how to make a fist. Things like that. Yeah. And I know that's really basic, but being able to strike effectively and getting the correct parts of the body in that split second is,
and that's
really
about
important.
Training, I guess, because as you said, muscle memory. So if you never did it, you don't know how to do it. And when you have this memory of how to do it, then maybe in this one split second, you decide to do it.
Yeah. So even things like, even if my students remember to protect the most important part of their body, which is their head, their brain, get their hands up. Or when they do strike, they do it with force or they hit the right place.
So you basically just have to know where to strike.
No, it's important that my students have the confidence in knowing that they can do something if they need to, because they've done that training. They do know how to punch. They do know how to elbow. They do know how to knee. They do know where to strike someone effectively, rather than, you see a lot in the films, a lot of like this. And
especially when women are fighting or something,
which is awful. But so that's where the Muay Thai and kickboxing training especially comes into play. And then when it comes to more technical stuff, where wrist grabs, chokes, all these things, that's where jiu-jitsu and Krav Maga are really good. But like I said, situations like that arise and they're like instant and you're not prepared for them. It happens in a split second. So that's why, half of what self-defense is recognizing things before they happen.
And you were talking about recognizing red flags. What should someone focus on first when something feels off? We were talking about the intuition part, and what would you say? Like if something feels off, just escape the situation, I guess? Or?
I mean, it's all on context, really. But I think it's more about if you're uncomfortable and you want to leave, you should allow yourself, I'm going to leave. Because people that have strong boundaries, great awareness skills and are confident in themselves, they're harder to manipulate.
Yeah. And especially, I think body language is something you were saying. I remember someone once told me that there is a type of victim, I'm not sure if that's true, because I think that some people may be easier to attack, I guess, because of their body language.
Yeah, so you don't want to be an easy target.
Yeah.
So things like predators, when they're profiling people, think about your body language, if you're walking and shuffling, or if you're looking around and you're lost and, you don't know what you're doing. Whereas if you're, back straight, confident stride, even if you don't know where you're going, you walk with purpose.
Yeah.
Even something as simple as that. is off-putting. There's something called the crime triangle, where it's motivation, opportunity, and means.
Yeah.
So if you take away one of those,
it gets harder.
So, for example, I speak to my students about drink spiking. So if we use that crime triangle of opportunity.
Yeah.
So have you left your drink on the bar or in a cafe, wherever you are, and you go to the toilet and then you come back and then you drink it? Like that, there's an opportunity there for someone to put something in your drink. The motivation, like you've got to think, what is that person's motivation? Do you know them? Are they angry with you? Have you just had a fight? Have you, whatever it is. And then the means, which is the actual drug.
Yeah.
So if you can take away one of those things,
then you're half.
You're not an easy target.
Yeah. I think that especially as women, as I said before, we are socialized to please other people and smile and whatever. So I think a lot of what advice would you give someone who feels, am I overreacting maybe?
Yeah, I think women especially are guilty of that, because we're told a lot to calm down, be quiet, to
don't
silence ourselves, don't be rude, smile, all of these things. I think the easiest answer for that is so what if you're overreacting? Okay, so you thought someone was following you, so you did the necessary steps, you confirmed it, you crossed the road, there's all these different things that you can do. And then perhaps after your internal risk assessment, you decide to turn around and be like, why are you following me? And it just actually turns out that they're just walking home. So you feel like an idiot. You feel like you've overreacted, but so you're still safe.
Nothing happened.
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah, that's so true.
And I think that's a very sexist comment as well, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Could you give us a few scripts or simple phrases that teen girls or women can actually use when someone crosses the boundary?
Ooh, well, yeah, that's a good first thing, is to set your boundaries and stick to them. And so, for example, my boundaries are always a 3-strike rule. So I have strike 1, I'll ask you, I'll be nice about it, please, can you leave me alone? Step 2 is my voice will rise, and I'll probably use different language.
Okay.
Let's just say back off.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd strike is if someone makes contact with me and tries to touch me, and then, that's when something will kick in, whatever. Well, it depends on context, obviously. But I think for kids especially, the best thing that little kids can say is, you're not my mum, or you're not my dad, or I don't know you, because that will get more attention. Because let's think, when we walk around, we're hearing kids screaming or shouting or being loud. For teenagers, similar thing. Or just, it's just more about having the confidence to raise your voice as opposed to being silent and being quiet.
Yeah.
It's no, if you feel unsafe or something is wrong, use your voice and and hope it doesn't escalate and get out of there, or make sure it doesn't escalate.
I guess this is easier said than done, because some people are also shy and, are afraid to use their outside voice.
But that's where, confidence can be taught.
Yeah.
This is where you train at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can only do that in a safe environment and where you feel empowered and it feels safe to do so.
Yeah.
Because safety gives you options, and it means freedom.
What do parents often get wrong when they talk to their daughters about safety? Because I guess you also have to do with parents, not only the teenagers. So what do you teach parents? What do you tell them how to approach this topic?
Again, I think it's more about having the conversations, which I never had when I was little. I have, all my experiences are lived experiences. It wasn't that I was taught to look out for certain things. And I think parents sometimes assume the worst, and and I know that parents of some of my students in particular here in Dubai, it's public transport, taxi safety is a big one. And another one is, some of my students have told me that they've been followed when they're on the beach, and a few guys have followed them. So it's more about reassurance for the parents that I'm not teaching these kids how to, kill people. It's more about,
oh my God.
or to do something so bad that
they get in trouble.
They end up in prison.
Yeah.
Because obviously there are different laws in different countries, but there's a universal law So last year I did an SIA course, which is for a CPO, a close protection officer, a bodyguard. And you learn the law. And essentially around the world, self-defense is you match the threat level.
Yeah.
So for example, a choke cannot be misconstrued, as in that's about control and terrifying. So with that, if you really feel like your life is in danger, you do whatever you have to get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for example, if it's just, especially with kids in Dubai, when I think about growing up back in the UK, especially in London, you know, knowing the difference between some person that's been drinking and just wants some banter.
Yeah.
Maybe you're on a night bus or whatever, home or on the tube, and differentiating that between, oh, this is serious, I should really deal with this. But reacting in a way where you knock the person out or you use too much force. Like, I don't want to teach anything to anybody that can get them into trouble.
Yeah.
But it's that line of knowing, no, if you feel like your life is in danger, you do whatever you have to save it, because self-defense is all about escaping. Yeah, so as I said, in every class, I always start it with some sort of scenario. And then depending on how it goes and what the kids say, because, you know, sometimes I do ask, so has anybody actually been followed? And I am surprised by that. Yeah, actually, I have. Or they tell me something that's maybe happened abroad, like when they've been on holiday, when they've gone back home. And if there's something that I'm like, okay, do your parents know about that? And they're like, yeah, but I didn't really go into it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I might just have a chat with your parents about that if that's okay. And that's fine. And then, that's when I speak with the parents, I'm like, were you aware that this happened or that she felt this?
Most of the times they don't know, I guess, right?
No, because they don't know. And that's not a bad thing. It's just maybe at the time they didn't think it was a big deal and there was no open conversation about it. And I guess I'm another adult in their life that they can talk to. Well, I've asked directly that question, haven't I? How did that make you feel? So, there's I speak a lot with parents about what I'm teaching and what I'm doing. And because it's good to carry on those conversations at home. Yeah,
that's good. I always told my kids that when they are in public somewhere and there's a dangerous situation, like when they were small, that they should always look for other moms.
Even if you shout mum as well, you'll be surprised how many women, especially, are like, what's wrong? You okay? Even if, you're not their mum.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Do you think that self-defense training changes someone's confidence?
Of course.
Yes. It does, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. When you feel like I'm totally prepared for this. I could handle this.
Then you're more...
As opposed to, I don't know. As in, you're coming at it from a strong position rather than a weaker position, should anything happen, because you've had this sort of training.
And then let me ask something different, something else. So girls, when they start dating in the teenagers and they make their first experiences with dating or like serious friendships, let's say, what are warning signs for them? Because as we established, most of the time it's the boyfriend, the husband, the whatever.
The intimate partner.
The intimate partner. So what are like early warning signs in dating?
I think someone isolating you, as in they're slowly but surely kind of removing you from your friendship groups. No, not removing, like convincing you to step away from your friendship groups. Keeping secrets, asking you to keep secrets on certain things. So you have to lie about where you are or what you're doing to your friends and your family. I think those are probably the earliest signs that it's advice I've given my students before. Because, it's a form of control. And eventually, like I said, with the recognizing of the red flags and the awareness before anything happens, it's spotting these signs early is super important.
Yeah. And you also suggested that we talk about online safety, which didn't even come to my mind. But it's
I have
so
a story.
True.
That's why.
So what do you think are the top risks when it comes to online?
Oh, there's so many risks now. I'm not going to touch on the whole AI grok thing that's going on right now with the undressing of children, but that's obviously the rise of AI and that whole thing. But I have a story because I talk a lot about how kids who are born and raised in Dubai don't have street smarts. And street smarts can't be taught. You have to
just
live
gain
them.
By,
it's kind of lived experience. It's not something that you can get unless you've lived through it. However, I think that kids nowadays especially are so much more globally aware of things going on than I ever was as a kid. I was very insular. Of course, this was the years before mobile phones could do what they do now. And, kids today, even if they don't know much about it, they've heard the words Epstein files.
Oh, yeah.
Male loneliness epidemic.
Did he?
Yeah, exactly. All this stuff. And even if they don't research into it, they've heard certain words around this. And I don't remember I wouldn't have had any of that when I was, let's say, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. So although they don't have street smarts, what I consider street smarts, comparing it to maybe adults that were born and raised elsewhere, the Dubai kids are definitely more globally aware because they're with everyone here is from everywhere.
Yeah.
So they lack those street smarts, but I think they already have more street smarts online than we do as adults.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a really interesting, awful experience with trolls. I posted a video. It went viral. For some reason, it got pushed to America. I don't know why. It was when it was my...
The weird algorithms.
I know. Just on this one video. It was where my fellow black belt instructor friend and he was overpowering me and he ends up on top of me. And basically the whole thing is I'm doing everything wrong. And the whole premise of the video was basically me saying it's really important for me to bring in a surprise male attacker occasionally into my class to test the girls, because when we're training with each other, we're the same sort of height, we're the same gender, all of that. So to feel that
power level also.
Yeah, they're taller, they're heavier, they're bigger. It just feels different. Anyway, so the whole video, maybe it was just a bit too nuanced for social media because nobody read the caption or nobody read the descriptions. Yeah. And it was brutal. It got racist real fast. With the attacker not being the right color. Mm-hmm. It got the usual, you're doing the moves wrong. It's like, I know, for goodness sake, yeah.
And it's always men, right?
Unfortunately, so this is tips, right? I obsessively looked at every single person's profile. Yeah. That wasn't a troll. You can tell the ones which are trolls. But actual people, I would go through and look at them and be like, oh, you are a man, great. And it sucks. Yeah. And but then it got violent and it got, men threatening to come into my class and grape my students.
Oh my God.
And threatening to...
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. And in hindsight, I should have turned off the comments way before I did. But it's because the first ones were just idiots, like, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. Or the attack
is like mansplainers.
Exactly. And it's like, I know. Or like, the attacker's not going 100%. And it's like, of course he's not. We're in a dojo. There's mats on the floor. He's wearing a groin guard. Like, of course it's not real. Like, he's not actually trying to kill me. Yeah. So, but I didn't realize how quickly, overnight,
it escalates.
You wake up and you're like... You've got all these comments from men around the world telling me that they're going to do awful things. Yeah. And that made me realize, wow, if I was, I don't know, when did I start? I started Aikido at 11, kickboxing at about 17. So let's say I was 17 today and I posted a video of myself. Oh, look, I got my next belts or whatever. Yeah. Or look at me sparring. And I won. And then having to deal with those sorts of comments. The mental strain of that and learning how to handle it, I think that has to happen now super early. So online safety is something that I am definitely delving into more because, again, with the street smarts, I know this happens. Of course I do. But until it happened to me and I knew how it felt, it's like, oh, my goodness.
What did you do then, actually? Did you turn off the comments? Or?
So I... obviously with the trolls and things, block, delete, report, all the very violent ones. But essentially I turned them off and some people said you should remove the video, but I'm like, no, this fuels my female rage. Yeah. And it kind of reconfirms, no, you're on the right track. You should keep doing this. Yeah. So that's what I did. That was a personal choice. Yeah. So I just turned off the comments. The video's still up there just to remind me to just keep going.
Yeah. But I think this is, especially young kids, they should not expose themselves to situations like
especially
this.
Especially with gaming online.
Yeah.
And, you're talking...
There are so many predators on these games, yeah.
So the whole idea of online safety the scope is huge now.
Yeah.
So I think that's becoming just as important. So street smarts online, as well as street smarts in real life.
Telling them that even if they play with some random people, never send your photos, your phone number, never tell someone where you live.
No, exactly.
Like, never meet someone from the internet, you know?
All of these things, which I think to us as adults that
it seems
didn't grow up with that.
Yeah.
It's so obvious, right?
Yeah.
But of course these kids,
And as you said, especially in Dubai, because all the people here are so nice and everything, you know, you don't assume the worst of people.
You can't live your life thinking that everyone's out to get you, but you have to be realistic. And the only way to be realistic is to be educated and to be informed of things that have happened and could happen, but dealt with in a way that isn't to scare them. Because, like, can you imagine being that age and being told, like, about pedophiles?
But as you said, the funny thing is that kids nowadays, they have like this skill set of knowing about these things. They maybe they talk to each other about it. I don't know. They see it online or whatever. So it's not like something
new to them. But it's I think it's knowing that they can talk to you about it. It's opening up that communication line because like I said, learning about things like pedophiles, like anything to do with adults and children. I mean, you said your son was 12?
Yeah.
Yeah. So kids are online. Kids have phones.
Yeah.
I don't know, 8 years old?
Yeah.
Younger?
Kids,
that blows my mind. But again, I get the lived experience thing. I didn't have that when I was growing up. So that's why I say about the street smarts, there has to be street smarts online as well as in real life.
Yeah, and they even know things like location sharing or not to post
in
where
real
you
time.
are in real
in
time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So kids nowadays, they're really smart about this. Smarter than us, as you said, because when we were kids, we didn't have this. We had to learn it later on.
Again, so we learned it as adults. They're learning them as kids, which is fantastic. But you have to start. You have to start talking to your children about this.
And I think it's also important. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just to tell kids that if something online happens, that they can and should get help from an adult if something escalates or, you know.
Always, a trusted adult.
Especially
no one's going to be angry with you, I think
like
is the
schools,
point.
they also have this awareness about bullying online, like in WhatsApp groups or stuff like this.
And there are new laws about that now,
There are new laws about it, and I think it's very good. So kids get this awareness also from schools, which is good.
Yeah.
So, and you should always get help from parents or people like you.
A trusted adult.
Yeah.
And never feel embarrassed or with shame about it. And you're not going to get into trouble. You just need to tell the truth. Because like I said, the mental load of some things that can happen and you keep it inside and it's abuse,
it makes
essentially.
Everything worse.
And then being able to verbalize it and talk about it is it's just gonna make everything better rather than keeping it inside.
Absolutely. So tell me, what should someone look for when they choose a self-defense class, especially for teenagers?
Okay, well, it's all personal. I'm really picky when it comes to instructors.
Yeah.
Throughout my whole martial arts career. But now I'm thinking about it, all my instructors were male, which isn't a bad thing. But I was always really, I would have the confidence to walk into a club and be like, nah, this is not for me. Either because maybe the instructor called me, oh, hello, sweetheart. And it's like, no, already that said, no, thank you. But in self-defense, there are a lot of ex-military that teach self-defense, which is great. And there are a lot of self-defense classes that focus on usually one martial art. And it could be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it could be Krav Maga, and which is great. Both of them are great. But I personally think the best self-defense class is one that doesn't affiliate with one particular discipline. It incorporates a lot of them, like me.
Okay.
Just because there are so many different ways to, let's say, get out of a wrist grab, for example, and which one is you might use or which one is best for you, you have to pick from a lot of different options, but you need to be given those options because in self-defense, there are no rules. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So to have different insights from different experiences, different martial arts, all of these things, I think is really important when you're choosing a class. Oh, also the ratio between women and men in the class. And it's not unheard of for the ratio to be like men, higher percentage in the class of men, which is great. But I now, like back in the day, I was always the only girl in the martial arts classes. But yeah, now it's changed, which is great. It's still not 50-50 yet from my experience, but there's definitely more women now in that space, and it's fantastic. So I would now, if I was choosing a club, I would choose one that had, it was a good ratio of men and women in there.
What's a good age for teenagers to start a class like this?
I started martial arts at 11, but research has shown that as young as 5 is the best time to start this. Yeah, because it helps with coordination, it helps with motor skills, it helps with controlling your emotions. And it has to be age appropriate, obviously, but you can start introducing, like the conversations we've just had. Yeah. Just start talking slightly, gently, in a way that, again, does not scare them. But it's like, hands up, who's got a mobile phone? And I think in Dubai, maybe some 5-year-olds will put their hands up. And then it opens the avenue of speaking to parents. It's like, do you have parental controls? Do you how does this work? Because like I said, this is so new to me because I never had that growing up. But in terms of for self-defense, especially any age,
it's never too late, I guess.
It's never too late. I think everybody should have this basic foundation. Men, women, all genders, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's so good. What's one thing you want every listener to remember after this episode? Is there something particular that what's important to you for other people to know about self-defense?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Ooh, what's the one thing I want people to take away? So my tagline or slogan is called Be Your Own Hero. And essentially that is to, promote you standing up for yourself, because if you're not going to do it, who else would? And I'm a millennial, so I grew up in, Disney films where the prince comes to save you. And I'm not saying don't ask for help or anything like that, but it's knowing that you can do something and you should be able to rely on yourself. Yeah. Be your own hero, I think.
That's so good. I love it. That's a perfect ending, actually. Because I think I have covered everything that was important to me. If there is anything else you want to address, then now is the right time.
Yeah, the key. I've hammered home about the fact that self-defense isn't just fighting, and it shouldn't be viewed that way, even though we think that.
If there's nothing else, I will link all of your socials and the website of Impulse Self-Defense, of course, so people can take a look at it and contact you if they are interested in self-defense classes.
Yes.
Do you also teach in schools?
Yes, I do. So I teach in 2 schools at the moment, hopefully more for the next term. Yeah. And I'm just expanding my classes across Dubai. So, and as I said, right now it's girls, teens and women. That's the obvious choice. I'm a startup, I'm a new business, so I stick to what you know. But yes, soon it will also be mixed classes and boys specific classes.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, so if you're interested in self-defense, please contact Leah. I think she is great and what she shared with us, which is don't live in fear. That's my takeaway.
Okay,
Be your own hero. So you have more clarity when it comes to these situations and you're prepared. Use your voice, your instincts, set boundaries and know what to do in those moments, offline and online. Leah, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure and I have learned for myself a lot, so I hope everyone else as well. As I said, all links and resources will be linked in the show notes. See you next week. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Okay, that was great.
I hope so.